So everyone knows about China's economic people, right? Today I'm going to talk about China's economic success, which has not only taken 600 million people out of poverty, but also has outpaced the US in recent years in terms of purchasing power. So most of the explanations I've come across have heavily influenced by the Western liberal economic theories. So I'm here today to offer a more indigenous understanding by prioritizing local governments as strong engines for China's economic takeoff. It would be rather surprising if we take a step back to the initial stage. There wasn't a single element in the Leninist state which could be regarded as business friendly, including hostile communist ideology, centralized political structure, and isolated international standing. So there is a lesson to be learned about market building for developing and even developed nations. And for science students like us, I believe it could also help us better understand the source of China's development and also the present challenges to China's economy. So now I will turn to my key explanation, the local political entrepreneurs. I would mainly focus on the horizontal and vertical perspectives. To be clear, horizontal refers to interregional, which I would address in my point 1 and 2, whereas vertical means central local, which will remain in my last point. So to begin with, my first point, interregional competitions. With less centralized planning and changed political incentives, local officials have embarked on the road of hasty reform and opening up. There were thousands of experiments going on all over the country with one final remedy, privatization and internationalization. So these local political entrepreneurs competed to restructure their township and village enterprises in the hope of increasing economic efficiency as a way to boost tax revenues and their political standing. In terms of attracting FDI abroad, they've also raised to create a business-friendly environment by lowering business taxes as well as labor costs. So such a beehive campaigns very much resemble the Maoist type, but with changing goals to boost the national economy. So my second point is the interregional cooperation. It has also taken place, which quickly spread the reform benefits. Increasingly, coastal provinces have started to look inward for cheap labor and natural resources. So these inland provinces were dragged to the value chain with their comparative advantages. So it will not be surprising for us to see that such dramatic economic campaigns were accompanied by enlarged political support all over the country, making this seemingly impossible reform a self-strengthening process. Last but not least, these local governments, I'm talking about the vertical perspective now, could also act as a de facto checks and balance against the central authority. This was especially true in 1989, when we know that there was a political turmoil at Tiananmen Square. So the Guangdong governor, alongside with other coastal leaders, have successfully blocked the central proposal to reintroduce national planning and curb private enterprises. So their sort of democratic representation in the political system could guarantee a smooth transition or continued liberalization, even in the period of political controversies. In conclusion, the local political entrepreneurs have played a key role in initiating and sustaining the economic reform. But such micro foundations, which I have just argued, have so frequently been ignored by even the most established economists. So this lesson could also tell us that in China, economic reform remains essentially a political enterprise, which could also lead to a series of problems, including local corruption, decreasing state capacities, and also over-reliance of private enterprises on the state. So this would then justify a more rapid or a new round of reform in the foreseeable future. So I've covered three main points about the reason why I would say local governments have played a key role in interregional competitions and cooperations, and also vertical economic democracy. So I will end here, and thank you for listening. I'm happy to take any questions you may have. Yes.
I have one question.
Yeah.
How can you define, maybe I misheard, local political entrepreneurs?
Okay. Thank you for the question. I think some of the scholars in Chinese politics love to call them local political entrepreneurs because they try to run their village as a corporation. Those township and village enterprises, as I just mentioned, um, are in the first stage where were submitted to the hand of the local officials who will act as a CEO in the board, and they will try to look at what the comparative advantages that village have and try to connect to the to the international market. So that may be the reason why some of them will call them political entrepreneurs from the grassroots.